Okay, folks, so get this ready for this one, because today we're diving deep into something you might not expect we'll be talking about on this show.
Yeah.
We're going to be asking, could swearing at work actually be a good thing?
Wow.
You heard that right, swearing.
You know, it's funny because
Good workplace.
I was just reading this Business Insider article.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's
How'd
called
it called?
The New Fucking Normal.
Okay.
How profanity is powering productivity.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
It is.
And kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Totally. But
Yeah.
they're making the case that it can be
They're making a case.
really effective.
So I'm kind of curious to unpack this a little bit and see, what they're talking about.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really kind of interested in this anecdote from the article, and maybe you can speak to this a little bit.
Okay.
It's about this CEO who, completely changed the way his company did budgets, right?
Right.
Like, instead of all those, long, boring meetings and all that, corporate jargon,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
he just, looked at the numbers one day, and he just, basically said,
Yeah.
this budget is trash.
Straight up.
And you would think,
Things like that.
that's a recipe for disaster, right?
Right.
You would think that, but
I think everyone would freak out.
yeah. But what happened?
But it was kind of a genius move when you think about it.
Really?
Yeah, because, by cutting through all that, like you said, the BS, the corporate jargon,
Yeah.
and using a really strong visceral word like that,
Yeah.
it woke everyone up,
It's like an attention getter.
Total attention getter.
Yeah.
It forces them to look at the reality of the situation.
So it cut through and got everyone on the same page, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And it's not just him.
Yeah. Really?
The article talks about all these other companies who have had success with this.
Like who?
Like Tech Forward Solutions.
Right.
They actually saw their meeting times decrease by 60% just by being more straightforward with their language.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's this other company, DirectSpeak Inc.
Okay.
They actually started delivering projects 2 days ahead of schedule because of this.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's not just about creating shock value. It's actually making things more efficient.
Exactly. And I think it comes down to when you get rid of all the, the niceties and
Right.
you're just direct.
That's if?
Yeah, all the fluff. Then you can just get to the point and actually get things done.
Right.
It makes sense, in these fast-paced work environments where every minute counts. You don't have time to beat around the bush. You got to be this is the problem. Let's fix it.
Right.
And sometimes you need a little strong language to do that.
Yeah. So it's you're saying it's not just about the speed, but it's also about cutting through all that to actually get to a solution.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about clarity and really focusing on what matters.
And what about the team dynamic? Does that play into it at all?
I think it does. I think when people feel like they can be themselves at work,
Right.
Even if that means dropping an F-bomb every now and then,
Right.
it can actually build trust
Okay.
and make people feel more connected.
Interesting.
It's we're all human here. We
Yeah.
all have these
Yeah.
these emotions,
Right.
and sometimes they come out in colorful language.
Right. So I guess the question that is how do you make sure that this doesn't go overboard?
Right.
Right. How do you make sure it doesn't just turn into a free for all,
Yeah. That's where the idea of strategic profanity comes in.
Strategic profanity.
Yeah, it's
I like that.
it's not about just giving everyone a license to curse like a sailor.
Right.
It's about understanding when and how to use strong language so that it actually has the desired effect.
Right. So it's almost like any other tool.
Exactly, like a hammer, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
You use a hammer to drive a nail.
Yeah.
You wouldn't use it to tighten a screw.
Right.
So it's the same thing with profanity. It can be really effective
In certain situations.
in certain situations, but you got to be careful.
You got to know when to use it.
Yeah, and how to use it.
This is blowing my mind.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
I can't believe there's actual training programs for this.
I know, right?
Did you see that in the article?
Yeah, they were talking about these courses,
What are they called?
productive profanity
Oh my.
and professional blasphemy.
That's
Every
hilarious.
companies are actually paying for this training.
That's wild.
I know, but it shows you how seriously they're taking this. They're
Yeah.
realizing that language is powerful, and they want their employees to know how to use it effectively, even if it means swearing.
So it's like anything else. It's
Yeah.
you got to have the right tool for the right job, and you got to know how to use it. Okay, so let's play devil's advocate here for a second.
Correct.
What are some of the downsides to this?
Well, yeah, like how do you make sure that things don't go too far?
Right.
How
Yeah.
do you stop it from just becoming like a totally toxic environment?
Right. And what about people who are just like really uncomfortable with strong language?
You know, there are definitely some valid concerns there.
Yeah.
And I think the key is like setting clear boundaries and guidelines. Like
Okay.
this workplace culture consultant, Maria Gonzalez,
Okay.
she says there's a big difference between saying, you know, this deadline is impossible.
Right.
And like calling your coworker, you know, an a-hole.
Right.
Like one is just expressing frustration.
Right.
The other one is like actually being mean,
Right.
you know?
So context matters.
Context matters a lot.
Yeah.
And so does intent.
So it's like anything. It's like
Yeah.
how you use it.
It's all about how you use it.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know?
So I'm kind of curious, like, what do you think about all this?
I mean, it's definitely a fascinating trend. It makes you think about like what it means to be professional, you know?
Yeah.
Like maybe we need to loosen up a little bit,
Right.
you know?
Let people be themselves.
Yeah, and maybe that'll actually lead to like better communication and better results.
Now I'm curious, for you listening out there,
Yeah.
could you see yourself working in an environment like that?
Yeah. Would you be comfortable with that?
Where there's a little bit more, real talk happening.
Yeah. Or would it make you uncomfortable?
Something to think about.
It is.
It's really making me think, like,
Yeah.
how this could apply to other areas of life. You know?
Totally.
Like, not just the corporate world, but like our personal relationships.
Right.
Maybe even like politics.
Yeah.
Like, what if we all just got a little bit more real with each other?
This is a fascinating thought.
Maybe that would actually help us communicate better and solve problems more effectively.
Maybe we need a little more productive profanity in our lives.
I love it. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but we want to hear from you. What do you think about all this?
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts. We love getting your feedback, and we'll see you next time
See ya.
for another deep dive.
Bye.